Hi there, and welcome on the journey to transform culture. I'm Steve, and I'll be your guide. Well, folks, hope you're having a fantastic day and an even better week. Today, folks, we're going to talk about in this video are old grudges affecting your performance? Sounds like I'm doing a commercial, huh? No, but really, are old grudges affecting your performance? This has actually had some broad cultural, reach, right? Because I could be speaking to myself in the mirror, right? I could be speaking to any one person, a small group, friend group, family members, anybody's family or friends, right? Local community, your work environment, right? Organizations where we form up, right, to hopefully work together to serve customers. And it could be political, it could be all kinds of things, right? So, are old grudges affecting your performance? One indicator, one little quip about this, I guess you could say, is the news. I remember when I retired from the Air Force in 2010, and prior to that, I had been pretty much a nightly connoisseur of the news. But what I kind of realized and kind of accidentally tripped into was I had moved across country, started doing work in a different, place, and life took off in a different direction, and I just didn't turn on the TV and watch TV at night. Occasionally, I'd put in a movie, whatever, but that sort of thing. But I didn't. But I wasn't watching the nightly news, and I realized that all my stress level dropped down. Right, life was enjoyable. I didn't need to know about somebody else's, dog eat dog fight with somebody else. There wasn't that drama and that contentiousness, right? We also, this is another aspect of this, we kind of buy into other people's old grudges and so forth. And here's what's really interesting. You think about it. If you look at movies and TV, much of the paradigms of conflict within programs and story are often hitch their trailer to the idea that there is an old grudge, right? A grudge of the past, right? Two, grumpy old man or something like that, where two people that didn't get along, or all the things. There's a contentiousness, right? And it almost seems like, because it's played off so well in fiction, that we've somehow brought this forward into our lexicon of the modern day. Not to say that we just invented this yesterday, but it is to say we've normalized it more, right? Where before it was more about extremes. You might have geopolitical things going on in conflict, which is bad, but now everything is just, it's encroached onto the home front, into the local neighborhoods and cities and all these things. And this has never not been the case, that it's always existed in some form here or there and everywhere, right? But as evolved as we think we have become, right? As enlightened and as wise as we think we are, have we let and allowed old grudges, right, affect us, our performance? Because if you think about it, those things are a distraction. And if there's a distraction, then you're probably not what? Maximizing your efforts to the betterment of your own life and the lives of those people who are important to you, right? And so you are actually hurting yourself or allow yourself to be in an old grudge, right? Holding on to old grudges. Why? Because somebody slighted you, because somebody's dog pooped in your yard, or you know what I mean? Things happen, sure, right? Can you let it go? Right? Do people, are we capable of letting things go? Because what you see is you see in culture now where this is weaponized, right? Weaponized to hurt other people, to whip people up into a frenzy, right? And then you see this get into the political arena where it's not enough to just disagree with one another. Now you have to hate other people, right? Or have a grudge against other people, right? Are we giving people space to grow out of that box we put them in, right? Are we allowing, are we providing people opportunity, right? Giving them latitude, you know, a little bit of slack to fail? Or are we waiting for somebody to screw up so we can jump on it, pounce on it like a, like a wild cat or something, to pounce on it, right? Because we had a grudge, and by goodness, when something happens, boom, gonna pounce on it. And what good does that do? You may feel like, well, I'll feel better because I did this, okay? But all the moments leading up to that, you're not feeling better. It's affecting one's health. It affects our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health for sure. I mean, look around, folks. People are on this, that, and everything else just to try to keep it together now in the world. And so when you break it all down, are those grudges really helping you, right? And don't get me wrong, there are degrees, right? There's egregiousness to very high levels, and then there's, you could probably rank order it, right? I think we're really looking at not our 9 out of 10 scale egregiousness, right? That takes a while to get over. I think we're really talking about our 6.5 to 7 on down, all those things that are more of a constancy within our daily life. This is where, old grudges, and you may not even think you have a grudge. It may just be a feeling or a mindset you have towards somebody, right? It may be, maybe it's the cliquish thing, right? Where, well, we like our coffee has to have caffeine. Well, ours can't have caffeine. And, well, I like mine with sugar. Well, I like mine with cream. Are we dividing ourselves over silliness is really what I'm going for there, okay? Are we finding silly reasons, right? Really silly, beneath a standard of what you would expect humans in 2026 and beyond to, I wouldn't even say it's an ideal, a standard, basic. I mean, we're talking basic standard, right? Are we still playing these silly little games? Sadly, we are. Because why? If you give the opportunity, it's never about how can we improve things for, as many people as possible. It's no, how can I help improve things for 5 people I know while hurting the 95% of the people that I don't? Folks, that is an old grudge. That is a grudge, that's in the ideal scenario of what it means to have a grudge, okay? So now, when we see this organizationally, this could be affecting your customer base too, right? And not only customers for organizations, could be your customer if you're an entrepreneur. It could be customers by proxy too. People who like within the community, right? Friend groups, family groups, all the things, right? Those two are also your customers in a certain sense, right? Are we affecting the health of those customer relationships, right? All these relationships affected by old grudges, deep-seated family grudges, right? That go back generations or 2 or more or whatever, and that get carried forward, and the baton is picked up by the next generation. What starts out as parents now becomes brother and sister, and now on down the line it becomes cousins, and now you've got this ever growing chasm between a family, right? This happens in friend groups too, right? So in those scenarios, the relationships may just come to an end, right? But in many situations where, say, it's extended families and so forth, it's not always so simple, right? So This is the thing we have to examine, folks, and say, we all have to look in the mirror ourselves and say, are old grudges affecting our performance, right? My performance, if it's me or if it's you or if it's anybody, right? Is it affecting, how we perform? Is it affecting how we produce? Is it affecting the quality, not only products and service, but our connections and relationships in the world? How is it affecting, right? If you're carrying old grudges and you've got you've got a Rolodex of enemy, your top 20 enemies. Well, this person did this to me, and that person, and I'll show them, and you know what I mean. And so if you got this whole thing going on, where it's just, has your life now become usurped by by the very people that you have a grudge against? To such a point that you've actually undercut your ability to have a growing and thriving life. That's difficult. That's a difficult place to be in. So I would challenge all of us, right, to question, do I have an outstanding grudge, right? Who do I have a grudge against? Who is it? I think of it this way: who don't I like, and why don't I like them? Okay. That's an easy way to do it. Who don't I get along with, and why don't I get along with them? Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you may be fully, the only person involved in the situation. It may be you have a grudge against somebody who also has a grudge against you. Now, this becomes a little more challenging because now it's, well, who's going to be the more mature olive branch, giver now? Who's going to say, here's an olive branch, right? So this is where we are, folks. This is where we are, not only as individuals, but as a culture of all cultures, the broader cultures, of course, our communities and so on, right? We get so used to dividing each other based on these old grudges. It is affecting our health. It is affecting everything about our life that could be better. We are literally putting constraints in front of us, building walls that we have to climb over so that we can have better lives. Just let go. Just let it go, right? Just like the granddaughter, what is it, Frozen? Let it go. I'm not going to sing it. Don't even think about that. Let it go, right? Let it go. You live up to the song, okay? I challenge you. Anyway, just touching base today, folks. Let those old grudges go. They aren't helping you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, any of it. It's physically, for sure. None of it's helping you, And you got to ask yourself, too, are those things, not dealing with some of these things pushing you into addictive things, right? Food, drugs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? So, we each have to do our own, we each have to, look in the mirror and do our own, our own analysis, our own, inventory, right? And say, okay, ask the questions, don't avoid the questions. And then I think what you're going to find is you're going to say, you know what? I'll just let that go, right? Just drop it. And I'm going to tell you what, you are literally the next day going to feel better having done so. Even better if you kind of make a bit of a, get a piece of paper, put that person's name on it, tear it up. Not to say that's a bad thing or anything like that, but just to tear it up and to say, you know what, it's forgiven, right? Drop it in the garbage can. Whatever you're going to do, let it go, right? Anger toward so-and-so, then tear it up, drop it in the garbage can, done. And no longer is a weight on your heart. You want this heart, folks, to be light as a feather, okay? And you're not going to get to that point if you're allowing old grudges, division, hate, all these things to prevent you from having the best life possible. And keep in mind, we can, life can also can disguise these situations. You could be as prosperous as anybody could ever imagine and still have that, those old grudges just souring your heart, souring your health, souring things. Let it go. Let it go. And then you surely will have the highest wealth. Even those who don't have wealth, you will feel like you have the highest wealth. Why? Your heart now is light as a feather. You're not carrying this baggage around, right? And by doing that, you're just going to feel freed up, and you're gonna enjoy every day after you do these things. Acknowledge these things, let these things go in your own way. Pick your own methodology. All right, folks, hope you're having a fantastic day. Remember, hit that good green domino 3 to 5 times a day or more to uplift, motivate, inspire, and just encourage one another. When we do this, not only helping to transform culture, we're transforming our own life. But don't forget, we can't transform anything on the outside if we're not willing to transform on the inside. So important. All right, folks, have a fantastic day. Hit like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.